What just happened to the Indiana Fever could flip their entire season overnight. 2 point guards, both gone for the year, and the whole offense suddenly hanging by a thread. If you want fast WNBA updates the moment they break, make sure to subscribe to the channel right now and turn on all notifications. Let's unpack what went down, why it hit so hard, and how one decision could either save the season or end it early. The night started like any other grind toward the playoff chase, and then it didn't. In the first quarter, a veteran guard went down without contact, and the look on everyone's face said it before the medical team did. Later in the fourth, a second guard limped off. The kind of walk that tells you the body is done arguing. 2 leaders, same position, out for the season. That is not a bad break. That is a blueprint tearing in half. And as the arena buzzed with confusion, one reality settled in fast. The Fever's ball-handling core had just been wiped clean. But that wasn't the whole story. The first loss cuts deeper than the box score admits. A non-contact knee injury is brutal at any age, but when it hits a veteran, it threatens more than minutes. It threatens a career. This guard has been the steady pair of hands, the voice in huddles, the person who calms a shaky third quarter without needing to score a point. The kind of presence that turns a bunch of athletes into a real team. You do not replace that by pulling a name off a list. You lose her and the locker room gets quieter in all the wrong ways. Even if she's around the team, the dynamic shifts. Who directs traffic when the noise rises? Who sets the tone when the game gets messy? The rotation just lost its compass, and compasses don't grow on trees. And yet, the night had more to take. The second blow landed with perfect cruelty. A guard who had been trending up, pushing pace, turning defense into instant offense, suddenly needed help to reach the bench. The update confirmed. Season over. It hits hardest because of the timing. She had fought to reestablish her spot, earn trust, and started to show how she could run a team. That momentum didn't just stall. It was ripped out of the ground. Every team lives on energy shifts, and she had been one of the sparks. When you pull that out, it is not just a sub missing. It is a gear that no longer turns. The machine still runs, but it grinds. And the Fever do not have the luxury of grinding in August. What does losing 2 point guards really mean? Picture a stage with no conductor. Shooters still shoot, bigs still post, wings still slice into space. But the rhythm that makes it all connect is gone. The entry passes come half a beat late. The weak side skip arrives lower than it should. The early push after a stop becomes a cautious jog. The fences feel it immediately. They press higher, they trap earlier. They dare you to dribble into a corner and cough it up. A team can patch 1 injury. 2 at the same position changes the math. You are not hiding a weakness anymore. You are living inside it. And that's where the schedule gets unfriendly. Normally this is where you call around, float a pick, and bring in a veteran. Not this time. The trade deadline already passed, which slams the door on neat solutions. The cap is tight, contracts are guaranteed, and even hardship exceptions come with strings. You can sign a temporary body if the injuries meet the threshold, but real help is rare in August. The guards with playoff experience are already spoken for. The hungry young ones you might love to develop are under contract somewhere else. There's always names in group chats, but each name comes with a catch: fit, cost, paperwork timing, or a rhythm that won't land in time. The front office can still act, but there's no magic trick left to pull. Which brings the pressure back to the court. Coaching gets harder when the bench is short and the positions blur. It is one thing to shift the natural scorer into lead guard duties for a quarter. It's another to ask her to orchestrate for 2 weeks. That steals from her superpower and exposes her to extra pressure. You can also hand some creation to a combo wing and let her initiate sets, but now you're inviting ball pressure to chew your clock. In emergencies, even a skilled big can bring it up to start a set. Yet every trip like that is an open invitation for a trap 30 feet from the rim. These are clever band-aids, not a cure. And fans notice when the rotation tightens to 7. Every missed shot feels bigger when there's no ball handler to settle the next possession. The scoreboard against Phoenix already told that story with a 35-point punch. So what's left on the chessboard? The hardship route exists, but it's not as simple as signing 2 guards tomorrow. The rules are strict, the timing's delicate, and adding a body can force another decision you don't want to make. Waive someone you still believe in, and you risk losing a piece you need a week from now. Keep the roster intact, and your depth might stay paper thin. It is a tightrope either way, and the league calendar does not pause the help. Every day that passes is another practice without true point guard reps and another opponent preparing to blitz your makeshift ball handlers. The front office can choose stability or shakeup, but the clock is not friendly to either choice. Tactically, the Fever have to rewrite their attack on the fly. Expect more early actions that reduce dribble count, quick handoffs into downhill drives, empty corner ball screens to shorten reads, and drag screens in transition to get a head start before the defense settles. Expect sets that flow into second side actions faster, so the first pass does not need to be perfect to produce an advantage. On defense, they may have to gamble a bit more to manufacture easy points. Because half-court scoring gets harder without a table setter. That means rotating behind traps with urgency and selling out on the defensive glass. None of this is glamorous. It's survival basketball. And survival basketball has a shelf life. This is where one name changes everything. Caitlin Clark. The franchise piece, the pace setter, the gravity that bends a defense from midcourt. With her, shooters breathe easier, bigs touch the ball deeper, and opponents cannot blitz without giving up threes. Without her, every possession feels like threading a needle. The idea had been to bring her back carefully. Let the body feel right, let the mind trust every cut again. That luxury just evaporated. The team cannot hide that reality, and the league can't pretend it's not the storyline. Is she ready? Should she be asked to be ready sooner than planned? Those are two different questions with the same weight attached. Rushing a star back is the oldest temptation in sports. The team believes, the fans hope, the player burns to compete. But pushing too soon risks turning one problem into two. A minor setback becomes a nagging issue. A cautious return becomes a stop-start rhythm that hurts more than it helps. And yet, here's the harsh truth. The schedule does not care. The playoff line is moving every night. With 15 games left before the postseason begins on September 14th, the window is narrow. Without a floor general, the Fever could slip from the pack or sneak in as an 8th seed with too little juice to matter. With her, they can punch above their weight, especially if the spacing holds and the tempo pops. That is not hype. That is what gravity does. If she steps back in, the whole map changes. Early offense comes back. The weak side shooter gets real air. Aaliyah Boston sees single coverage more often, and the inside-out rhythm revives. The playbook opens. You can run pistol into rescreen, you can loop into flare and punish the overhelp. You can disguise sets by starting them faster, because one pass unlocks two options instead of forcing a high-risk dribble. Even opponents who plan to blitz her have to choose their poison, and those choices leave cracks. The Fever don't suddenly become perfect, but they stop bleeding possessions. And in this league, cutting 5 bad trips a night is the difference between chasing and controlling. Emotion matters too. This team has taken hit after hit. Losing 2 guards in one night was more than a stat. It was a test of belief. When a star walks back through that tunnel, belief returns with her. Crowds feel it. Teammates square their shoulders differently. The mistakes that drag on a team when it's wounded get forgiven faster. That's not sentimentality. It's human. A locker room needs a spark, and sometimes leadership is simply a face that says, "We're not done yet." Her comeback would not just plug a hole. It would reset the temperature in the room. Still, hope without a plan is noise. The Fever need contingency lanes ready no matter what the next scan says. If she is cleared soon, build a ramp with strict minutes, 2 short stints early, 1 longer if the game demands it, all wrapped in actions that protect her from heavy contact. If her return needs more time, double down on the low dribble offense and simplify reads even further. Ride 2-player games that your current guards can run cleanly and live with the results. On the margins, squeeze value from defense and rebounding to buy 4 to 6 free points a night. In pipe races, those margins stack up. There is also a front office layer that never makes the highlight shows. You keep one phone line open every hour. You check on veteran guards overseas who might be stateside and in shape. You track players on 10 through 12 who could be available if their teams adjust. You talk to agents you trust about fit, not just talent. And you revisit hard questions about the last 2 roster spots, not because anyone failed, but because the board changed. Every choice has a cost. The only sin is pretending there's a painless option. Meanwhile, opponents will game plan to make every possession uncomfortable. Expect extended pressure on inbounds. Expect soft traps that look harmless until your clock hits 14. Expect top-blocking shooters to force catches outside scoring pockets. Expect switches designed to lure your non-handlers into initiator roles. The counter is discipline. Do not dribble to nowhere. Hit the first open pass and flow. Keep bodies cutting through to force switches you want, not the ones the defense wants. And when the shot is there, take it. Second guessing is a turnover wearing a different coat. Fans will argue about names. Should the team chase a veteran with a rep for instant buckets, even if the personality fit is a question mark? Should they gamble on a young guard with tools, but no playoff reps? Should they prioritize size at the point or speed at the point of attack? Reasonable people will disagree. What matters is fit with what the Fever can run right now. You do not need a hero. You need a steady driver who values the ball, flattens out runs, and gets your shooters touches where they like them. The right 4-assist night is sometimes better than a loud 18. The standings will not wait, and the schedule can turn mean in a week. The Fever must survive the next few games with clarity. Win ugly. Play small stretches of clean basketball on purpose. Avoid the momentum killers, live ball turnovers at the top, late clock isolations that end in contested long twos, and defensive possessions where two players point at each other as the corner shooter lines it up. The sign that things are stabilizing will not be a blowout win. It'll be a 6-0 run in the third that arrives from nothing but solid execution. Get one of those. And the bench stops holding its breath. At some point, the decision about the Stars' return will arrive. When it does, measure twice, cut once. If the body says yes, the minutes plan says yes, and the eyes test says yes, then walk back out there and change the temperature of the season. If any one of those layers says not yet, trust that too, and keep building a way to win possessions without a true point guard. Either path can work if the commitment to it is complete. Half measures do not survive August. This moment will be remembered. Maybe as the night the season began to unravel, or as the spark that forced everyone to focus, adjust, and claw back into form when it mattered. The difference between those two stories is not luck. It's choices, urgency, and a little bit of courage. The Fever do not need perfection. They need a direction, a pace, and a belief that outlasts a bad week. Two guards gone for the season. A depth shot stretched thin. A franchise star who can tilt the floor the moment she steps on it. The path forward is narrow, but it still exists. Either a timely return restores the rhythm, or the team builds a short-term identity that wins the possession game until the cavalry arrives. If you want the next update the second it drops, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a WNBA breakdown. Drop a comment with where you think the Fever go from here. And tell me if you believe this roster can still make noise when it matters most. The fight is not over, and the next 2 weeks will write the story.